All right, guys, so here's what we got going on today. 67 Mustang Fastback. Drivetrain vibration. And we've got it looked at, had it on a 4-post, did some driveline angle checks on it, and the rear end is not sitting at the proper angle. So what we're gonna do is pull the rear end. It's too far off to shim. We tried shimming it, can't get enough, and I don't like pounding a bunch of angle shims in the rear end. So we're gonna pull this rear end out, cut off the perches, and put new perches on it at the correct driveline angle. So we'll get this car up in the air, get the wheels off of it. I'll jump back in here as we're disassembling it and give you a peek at what's going on. All right, so wheels are off, up on the lift. So what we did on this car is we put a 2-degree shim in there, try to see if we could fix the pinion angle. Did not. The calculator actually told me it wouldn't once we put the angle finder on it, but it was worth a try. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, when I say perches, I mean these that are welded to the rear axle. So this is obviously is not an OEM rear end. This is an 8.8 converted car. So these saddles, axle saddles, whatever, leaf spring perches, whatever you want to call them, they're just not on at the right location. So we're gonna cut these ones off. We're gonna take the rear end out, cut these off, reposition them to the proper angle, tack them, put this up on the car, back up in the car, set it on suspension, do our angle measurements, do the angle measurements again, and make sure they're within spec. If they are within spec, then I'll go ahead and weld them up solid, which I can do from in the car. I don't have to pull the rear end back out. So we'll get them we'll probably get them right on the money, you know, outside of the car, just with some measurements off of a stock rear end. So, but I'll just tack them, get it in the car, sit it on suspension, remeasure everything out, go on to, Tremec has a pretty good calculator on their website, on the Tremec website. So I'll probably just go back onto that, punch my numbers in, and see how it goes. Obviously, if they're good on there, weld it up, put it back together. This is a day job here, so we'll get started on it, and once I get the rear end out, I will get back at you. All right, so rear end's out. There's the rear end. So I had another rear end, 460s Mustang, an OEM, right there. So here's what we did. So to get this measurement close, you take digital angle finder. So angle. So this is what I did. You take that, you put that on there, 0.1, pretty dang close. And you come over here to the machined part of the yoke, and you have 85.1. So then what I did is obviously I cut the saddles. Off of this. This is the new saddles. Same thing. Set that on there. 0.1. And then you go the same thing. You do the front off the mounting flange. 85.2. So that will get it within factory spec. Obviously, because that's an OEM rear end. So I'm gonna just tack those saddles on, tack them on. We'll get the rear end back up in the car, get it sitting on suspension, and I'll double check all the measurements. I double checked the measurements on that 8.8 rear end compared to the OEM, and it was like almost 5 degrees difference. So good chance that was the problem. Very good chance that's the problem. I'm gonna tack it and double check it anyways. Like I said, I don't mind fine tuning the pinion angle with pinion shims. And when I say pinion shims, for someone that might not know, so you got shims, angle shims, that tilt the rear end one way or another, and these come in different thicknesses, which are totally fine, but I don't like to use too many shims, start stacking that thing up too much. It's just me. So we're gonna tack this one, tack those saddles on, perches on, whatever you wanna call them, onto that rear end, and then we will go from there. We'll get the rear end up in it and get it sitting on suspension. All right, be back at you. Okay guys, it's the next day. I had a bunch of stuff come up in the afternoon, so I did not get a chance to get that rear end in yesterday and show you the rest of the process. So we're finishing it up this morning. Right now, the rear end's up in there. Brake lines are hooked up. Saddles are tacked in. Let's see if I can, there it is. Saddles are tacked in. Gonna go ahead and get these. This car has these track bars or whatever you want to call them on it. So I'm gonna get all this U-bolts in, get the U-bolts tight. Gonna get the wheels on it, set it on suspension. Once it's on suspension, we'll double check them measurements. I'll do a quick video on that and show you how that works. But I'm gonna get everything hooked up as if I don't have to take it out again, because I don't believe I'm gonna have to. And I can sneak the welder in there and weld them saddles on with everything in there. So I'm gonna bolt all that stuff up. It's gonna be too crazy to try to film that with everything else going on in here today. So I'll just be jumping back and forth with you. So see you in a bit. All right, so rear end's in the car. This is my makeshift way I do this. So I made my own little blocks, set it down on suspension. And again, digital angle finder. Now this is gonna be tough to get under there, but I'll get under there because it's gotta sit on suspension. So, what you're doing essentially is you're gonna put this on there, get that measurement. Find, on the transmission, you gotta find a flat spot. I actually always go off the crank pulley, get that measurement, and then you want the measurement right here off, let me see if I can get it from there, there you go. Right there off of that, so bam, right off the flat machine surface. So what I always do is I write those numbers down. In this case, it was 2.7 transmission, drive shaft was 3.7, rear end was 0.9. So when you add all that into the calculator, it'll either come up green or red. If they're all green, you're good. If they're red, it ain't right. So it's pretty simple. I'll take a little snapshot and put that in the video of what those numbers were. They aren't like, it's within tolerance. So that's what we worry about. So the car should be good to go now. I'm going to get the car back up in the air, weld the saddles tight now, Lower the car back down, put the wheels back on it, lower the car back down, and this car's good to go. We're gonna take it for a ride. All right, guys, there it is, it's done. Took it for a ride. Vibration is gone. Not much to it. Hope that this video enlightened some people. I'm not an expert. This is just what I know to do with the things. So there it is, tucked away for now. Weather's kind of crappy here, so all right, we'll see you on the next one.